Disaster Recovery Planning, DRP. What are the different types of tests? Well, there are a few. The first being the read-through test or checklist test, being the most simplest but most important. Copies of the DR plans should be circulated to staff to ensure they review the accuracy, accountability, and structure/updates are accurately recorded. Staff can simply read these documents in their own time. The next DR test that is commonly completed at the same time as a read-through test is the structured walkthrough, also known as a tabletop exercise. This is where members of the disaster recovery team get together and collaborate and role-play a disaster scenario and enact how they would all respond. It is not uncommon for creativity to thrive in the creation of such role-playing activities, helping with the realism. These two tests are largely non-interruptive to the business. Now, the next types of tests can cause interruption or alternative sites to be enacted to really start testing the disaster recovery planning in an active manner. The first of such tests is known as a parallel test, which involves spinning up an alternative site without interrupting the primary site. This may involve relocating some staff whilst parallel business continues at the primary site. The flip of this test is a full interruption test, which involves an alternative site. However, the primary site will be switched off and all staff will be relocated to the alternative site, meaning there will be an interruption to the business operations and the primary site. The beauty of this full interruption test, however, is the most accurate to gauge how a business will enact its disaster recovery. Interestingly, there is a hybrid type of test which combines the parallel and full interruption test pros and cons. This is known as a simulation test, which may involve some interruption, but is largely controlled through a simulation. So now we know the types of DR tests. Here are some important keynotes around disaster recovery planning for the CISSP exam. Firstly, at the conclusion of any DR testing, an objective non-DR facilitator should host a lessons learned session with the DR staff and any updates fed into the disaster recovery plan, which should be treated as a living document. Secondly, an important distinction between the goal of disaster recovery planning, which is not to be confused with business continuity planning. You see, the goal behind DRP is to restore the business operations as quickly as possible once a disaster has struck. Keynote: DRP is not to prevent business interruption. That is the job of business continuity planning, explained in my previous video, which I have linked now in the screen. So DRP simply picks up where BCP left off. Again, to reiterate this key note, which is often a source of common misconception, DRP is about recovering and restoring operations, but not preventing the disaster in the first place. That is the job of BCP. Please do check out the video on BCP linked at the end of this video, and stay tuned for more content like this by liking and subscribing to this channel. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoyed creating it.